Angel-like giant winged humanoids sighted in space. This incident was not only documented, photographed, it was also reported by NASA in detail to the Vatican. This concept completely blew my mind, the writer says, as there have been several, if not more, occurrences in the past where humans in space witnessed giant humanoid beings following their spacecraft and approaching their space stations. What really got me to take a second look was the reported size of those beings. In 1985, 6 crew members on board the Soviet Salyut 7 space station witnessed something incredible. Huge angels seen in space. Soviet cosmonauts were stunned. 6 Soviet cosmonauts said that they witnessed the most awe-inspiring spectacle ever encountered in space, a band of glowing angels with wings as big as jumbo jets. According accounts to 2 bizarre sightings by Russian leading space travelers are contained in top secret report smuggled out of the Soviet Union. Okay? So the Soviet cosmonauts were stunned. That's what they were, more supernatural than natural, they said. The startled cosmonauts Vladimir Solevev, Oleg Atkov, and Leonid Kizim said they first saw the 7 celestial beings July during their 155th day. They said what we saw were 7 giant figures in the form of humans, but with wings and mist-like halos, as in the classic depiction of angels. Now, the flash of bright white light blinded all the cosmonauts on board of a short time. After a few seconds, they could see again. The cosmonauts saw silhouettes of 7 figures outside the station. The silhouettes looked like humans, but were huge, at least 90 feet. They also had large wings and luminous halos above their heads. The creatures looked like angels, they said. They were glowing, they reported. We were truly overwhelmed. There was a great orange light, and through it we could see the figures of 7 angels. The entire space station became filled with a feeling of peace and calm. These glorious beings were sent by God to watch over us during our long mission, they claim. The angels kept pace with the space station for some 10 minutes before vanishing. And 90 feet is huge. Later in the mission, some 167 days later, the crew were joined by another 3 cosmonauts from Soyuz T-12 spacecraft, Svetlana Zavitskaya, Igor Volk, and Vladimir Zanibekov. Shortly after joining them, the Salyut 7 was once again visited by the angelic beings. All cosmonauts on board the space station related the same story in detail, and all were profoundly moved by the experience. After this strange incident occurred, some of the crew stayed on the vessel for another 237 days before abandoning it. Safely back on Earth at the end of their mission, all the cosmonauts were subjected to vigorous psychological and medical tests, which found no abnormalities at all. The incident was quickly classified top secret by the Soviet Union, and the entire crew were cautioned never to speak of the event publicly. Many U.S. astronauts on board NASA's space shuttle and the International Space Station have also encountered angel-like beings and strange creatures while on missions. As with the Russian encounters, astronauts are unable to relate their experiences under the threat of being silenced in some cases. But what there's war though. While it would appear that astronauts had captured a new star cluster, in reality they quickly realized that they were imaging giant glowing humanoid beings in space. And as we know, the Hubble telescope have been operating for a while. One of the things that certain officials or scientists connected to in the government are not telling, that the Vatican now knows also, and has known longer than the United States government, the Soviet government, and the French government, is that the Hubble telescope in space has sent back the pictures of ethereal beings bathed in this orange glow seen by the occupants of Salyut 7. These angels, according to scientists and astronomers, would cause a world panic and confusion because the Vatican knows that they, and here's the Vatican's connection, are truly beings of light. but these computer-enhanced images have convinced scientists and astronomers alike that they are real living angels. The Vatican's interest in the Hubble Space Telescope is that these beings are real, are being seen, but they are not the benign, friendly angels watching over us that the scientists think they are. Scientists first thought they were a newly discovered star cluster because of the magnitude and brilliance of their colors. It became obvious with the computer-enhanced pictures that these were creatures they were seeing, according to one scientist at NASA. They, now get this, a group of 7 angels flying together in the NGC 3532 Carina 3 billion-year-old star cluster. The scientists showed the pictures to the Vatican, and there were 7 giant figures, all had wings and mist-like halos, reported one engineer. They were about 80 feet tall and had wingspans as large as airplanes. Their faces were round and peaceful, and they were all beaming. It seemed like they were overjoyed at being photographed by the Hubble telescope. They seemed to be smiling at each other as if they were letting the rest of the universe in on a glorious secret. NASA finally revealed to the Vatican that it was not the first time such a thing has occurred through the Hubble telescope. In the Soyuz 8 mission a few years back, after 120 days into the mission, Soviet cosmonauts of that flight also encountered similar smiling angels. The Vatican's interest, as they have told the 3 governments in secret meetings above, is that these angels, quote unquote, are truly those that are assuming the guise of an angel of light as spoken of by the Apostle Paul. The figure 7 represents the 7 churches of Asia and their problems that will soon come upon us. It also represents the 7 periods of the church, of which we are now into the 5th period. This is the bad period, the period of pain, suffering, and destruction. The period to follow, the 6th period, will be a period of consolation. Pope John Paul II, well apprised the advice of the above, had been for some time. He felt that we will see UFOs landing soon across the world, he said, and felt that these are not the benevolent beings they have been made out to be. So was it only Russia that had encounters of these things, or did NASA have their own sightings of these giant space beings? Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is on Collective Spark. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.